This might be a long video. This is just one of them videos every now and then I get in the mood and I just want to ramble on to share my thoughts about everything. And, sometimes I look at this, it's like, that's what I was thinking at that time. Wow. Other people probably think that when they watch it the first time. But yeah, so I just, I've been trying to find a little job and my wife's getting on me. She's thinking, move around, move around. Because I've started getting mobility issues. But my opinion, I went to the doctors and all this, and they said I had a narrowing of the spine, didn't need surgery. But I was taking some. This ain't medical advice. It's just my personal opinion of what happened. But I was taking some blood pressure medicine, made my legs swell, and I fell like 3 times at my job within a year and a half. Well, about a year. And they put inserts in my feet. Well, I got my feet x-rayed. They said they were deformed from birth. Never knew it. I've always walked funny, even so it's not just the weight thing. So they tried to give me inserts just to sell me some money. But I need special shoes probably, and my feet always been this. So my feet always been expensive anyway. They're short, wide. So I've always had to buy like more expensive shoes, even the cheap shoes, but they were still under 200, over 100, not the name brand, but the shoes for big fat feet. So, so I've been working on that, and I figured what it was when I was taking the medicine made me swell, retain fluid, so I couldn't bend my knees like I needed to. So I was bending over kind of at the waist, and that's why you need to use proper lift technique, not medical advice. But it caused 2 issues. I started having my knees hurt from wearing the inserts where my feet were like this, and then I started walking straight. Well, then it hurt because I hadn't been walking like that my whole life. So then I started having all kind of leg problems, couldn't walk that fast like an old man, and then I couldn't bend over. I had to hold on to something to like get a penny off the ground. I could get, and I couldn't put my left shoe, couldn't pull the heel up. So, because it hurt too much. So I had some kind of, not a disc issue, but some kind of nerve. And I think that come from me not being able to lift at the right time. But anyway, so I think that's what the problem is. So my wife's been fussing at me since November. I've had a weekend job, but she's been fussing at me to get a job, you're driving me crazy. And she don't really come out and say what she means to say or what she's thinking. It doesn't come out like you want it to. You have to really, she don't phrase things right. So it could be really kind of harsh, or it could be like abstract, And we've been married so long, I still can't figure out what she's trying to say. I'm probably not the only one like that. But anyway, nobody can figure out what I'm trying to say either. So we get along pretty good. Been married 26 years, going on 27. But yeah, I love my little wife. She's going to the hospital about once a month. But so I've been looking at these jobs. Yesterday Facebook had a group, and there was a job at like the job service, but I didn't go. It was like management. I had to apply for it, but don't have experience. Then there was another thing on Facebook, and one of the owners of the temp service, she posted some things, and it was an accounting position. Well, I graduated with a bachelor's and emphasis in accounting like 5 years ago, but I never did anything with it. I tried. I was at a job when I got the degree. I did the bachelor's online, and my first degree I did, brick and mortar. So I owe all these student loans now. So I've been looking for everything, state, but I'm almost 52, so it's kind of hard to get a job. And most jobs are physical, or they want you to work the weekends, and a lot of jobs offer me like $5 less than what I make on the weekend. So it's like, why should I work 6 days making $5 less? So it's kind of crazy. I don't have any insurance, but I'm thinking about, I got to look it up. QuickBooks, they got a thing where you can be a certified thing. So, and I took a QuickBook test today with accounting. I was really rusty. I can add the I guess, math together on accounting, but I don't know how to do formulas. And I didn't really study before I took this test. And it's been 5 years since I did any QuickBooks or anything, pivot tables. Only did like just barely touch the stuff. And now all these accounting jobs want you to have 2-3 years experience. So you just about had to work for family or work for free somewhere till you get to where they want you to be. But, so we'll see. They're going to submit it. And the other job, the first job was forklift, but I was having the issues. Then they offered me another job at a paint store for 70-pound buckets I had to pick up, put on the shelf. But I'm having trouble more than 50 pounds with dog food because of the back. And I wobble around, so the physical thing is starting to kind of slide a little bit. My son's 21. He just thinks I'm a power puff now. And I've said, hey, I still got some strength, even though I'm getting older. All those older guys out there can say that. I mean, he might be quick draw, but, I could flip out, turn into a bazooka from, I'm just kidding. I love my little son. He bought me supper tonight. So, yeah. So, I'm just rambling on, so forgive me. So anyway, trying to get these jobs, I talked to the lady. She said call her, and she had to go get a shot for allergies, and and then so she sent me this test. I took it. It had some personality questions on it, like 40 questions, some Excel questions. Then she said, what part did you struggle with? So she didn't look at the test to see what I made, and I told her I had problem trying to. I forgot some of the formulas. Like you got B6 minus B5, and then you got to times it by percentage. And I could probably look that up, but I didn't have time because it was a test. And I could learn it. I just hadn't really messed with it that much. So, I struggle with those kind of formulas, and then I forgot a lot of stuff that count receivables and payables, and I got a little bit of it, but probably not enough to just, you put me in a desk, I'm going to be like, so I'm trying. But anyway, they got this thing with QuickBooks. You have to work at least 20 hours a week and you get certified, and hopefully they'll give you a job. And so I might do that because I'm already working 20 hours or 19 hours on the weekend. If I work like 20 hours during the week, maybe even do that travel stuff or, YouTube if it takes off one day. But you never know. This self-checkout stuff is gone too far. Look at this. Now you have self-checkout at Circle K. They said if they don't get enough of these self-checkout transactions, they will cut their hours. Dollar General's doing the same thing. Dollar General's got a self-checkout. Circle K's got a self-checkout. And the guys working there told me that if they don't get so many transactions to prove that the self-checkout, if they don't get enough business transactions that people do, then it's going to cut hours. They're going to cut man hours, so I guess with them doing the transactions, they can mop and stock the coolers. But the only thing is, this time in the country, several places in the country, there's a lot of theft. So self-checkout, theft went up. So then the prices go up. But the only thing I can see, this is how they're going to probably alleviate this. Either they're going to make it where you're going to have to pay with some kind of card, or they're going to have your ID and they're going to have face recognition. Then it's going to be like Florida. The toll roads in Florida, if you get on the turnpike, they mail you a bill. They take a picture of your tag of your car. They mail you a bill in the mail. And if you don't pay it, you can't renew your tags on the car without paying a fine. So they're going to get you. It might take time. I think that's what they're going to do with these self-checkouts. They're going to see what you put in there. They're going to know the price of it. And if it shows you don't pay, they're going to hire somebody to sit there and watch these computers or cameras, till they can train a robot to do it. So if you don't pay, they're just going to start sending you a bill in the mail, and you're not going to be able to renew your license or something. Or they're going to automatically charge you like $150 fine, if you don't pay the bills. because all these people, you've seen all these videos where people are cheating the scans. They'll put like a cheap item in there and a more expensive item on top. Well, the computer or the cameras can see that. You know, I mean, this is iPhone 13. They got an iPhone 14 out. So you know these stores got real good cameras, but every time you see the camera footage, it's always real blurred and grainy like some kind of UFO thing. But they know what they're doing. Things are changing, you know, and there's this guy called Proho. And my son, you know, we think he's kind of crazy, but we like him. But he started out, you know, started about forestry, and now he's talking about all this stuff like war, you know, going against the thing. But hopefully, now, you know, this is just me, you know, being religious. Hopefully the rapture comes before we had to say all that, because I'm not going to be able to fight all these people and do what they got to do, and then I'm going to be hungry. And, you know, I ain't going to be able to get out here and run with goods and chase everybody around and or fight lines for food. So hopefully I'll just go on to heaven then, and, you know, I'm done. I'm just worried about my grandkids, but if that time comes, then, you know, hopefully we'll all be here together with, you know, the Lord. But the things are getting closer, and nobody knows. But yeah, my wife just wants me to get around, do stuff. So I hardly eat like I was, and I'm staying the same. So she's worried about me. You know, she said, you know, if I pass away, who's going to take care of her? You know, so I gotta take care of myself. I got my little grandbabies depend on me, and I got people like watching my YouTube. I don't want to disappoint them, because shoot, I should have 80 more years. You imagine what 30 more years if we're still here and YouTube's still here? what this channel's going to evolve into by then? I can only imagine. You know, maybe we'll be like the Jetsons. I heard a theory the other day, the Jetsons and the Flintstones are really in the same time period. You know, I don't know if that's true, but, you know, Hanna-Barbera or whatever wrote both of them. And they were saying, like, the Jetsons were the rich folks, you know, up in the clouds, and the Flintstones were the poor folks down on the ground. But when they talked to each other, they knew a lot of similarities. And the Flintstones were able to adapt to the robot and the technology real easy. You know, instead of using their feet, using the robot cars and all that. So you never know. You really never seen what was on the ground in the Jetsons. So they acted like they went into the past, but they could have just went to the ground. Who knows? When they had a crossover, I think in 1987, 1988. If I'm right, I could be wrong. But yeah, just wanted to share all that, searching for jobs and trying to do stuff, you know, and keep my mind straight. Because I really do not want to work 7 days, not full-blown days, if I can help it. I was working, I've always worked a lot in my life. 2 jobs, and my children were like grown. I've seen more of my grandkids, you know, and it just had to be that way because we were young and starting out and didn't really spend a lot of extra money, but we spent more than we should have. And, you know, things have come around, and now I'm okay. Just kind of got more time than I know what to do with, you know. But no matter what you do, just try to have a plan, because you never know. I went to school for the first one I did. I barely graduated high school. And then they had a program called Upward Bound. And there was like 50 kids from 3 counties, and they helped us with our homework. So I made it past high school, and I even killed a squirrel with a slingshot, you know, and brought it in and dissected and got extra credit points. So I passed that class because, you know, I didn't really have time to study. Nobody helped me where I was at for like 5 years. And then I went to college, and I wanted to work. So I did really bad when I first went to school. Well, then I started working, and I was thinking, you know, I did security, and these guys, college students, having a good time, had jobs lined up. And I said, well, shoot, they got a college degree and they can get a good job, you know, but I didn't realize I didn't have any contacts. I just thought, well, that sounds like a good idea, you know, but it was kind of like a big scam, you know. No offense to people that went to college like me, but college is kind of like a big scam, but you don't know. You don't know till you do it. And, if they give the education for free, are they going to hire you? So, I went for electronics engineering technology, and it took so long, I had to get my skills up from high school to the college, like remedial classes, but they're higher in high school, but they're like in between. So I had to take a bunch of those. Then I started taking the math and the trigonometry and all the classes, and I took so long, a lot of technical classes only last 5 years. So I had to take like drafting and all, like 3 times. Like the AutoCAD, it was pencil, and then it went to computer, and then R13. So it's kind of cool. And, with the mechanical students, and then they had people come in sometime, and like Duke Power coming there for electronics, and we're asking people for jobs, but you didn't need electronics at Duke Power. It's mainly power. They just needed smart people to do it. So that was kind of cool. It's about the only job fair I had at the 2-year degree level. And I worked for Hitachi, and you're supposed to be able to move up with a 2-year degree, but it didn't happen. But I got an apprenticeship, so I went into maintenance, and first time I failed it because I didn't realize some of these principles about, two beams making it stronger, twice as strong, just basic physics, and they said that these maintenance guys are supposed to be able to have this in-tune ability to be able to see these things on the test and just say, oh, that's how it works, just an innate ability. But, they had to learn it somewhere. The baby learns there's milk in a bottle. I don't think you can just develop all this stuff. You just maybe took an interest in it. So I took it again, just see if I could pass. And I studied some of the things I was confused about, and I passed it. So then I was in an apprenticeship program, thinking I was going to be a multi-skilled maintenance technician. So I moved 90 miles away. I was going to get a room, come home, work 2 days, off 2 days, the same shift, but rotating days. And my wife said, where are you going? So she wanted to move with me. We bought a house, and I had that job, probably almost a year, and they fired me because my skill level wasn't up to par. Nobody show you nothing. It's supposed to be a maintenance, apprenticeship program. They wouldn't show you anything. I was mostly in the office doing paperwork, and then my wife told me to quit doing the paperwork, and I listened to her, and then the guy's production went down, so they kicked me out. And, it was an easy job. They were out there smoking cigarettes about 7 hours a night and only had to do it when something would happen. They had PMs and all that. They told me, don't worry about the apprenticeship program. So then I went to Comcast, started out as a technician. Then they had an opportunity for a warehouse. And I was there 13 years. And while I was there, I went to online school, and I had to, since mine was a technical degree, I had to take a lot of classes that were the main courses, like sociology and English 102, and some of the main courses for the Associate of Science that would transfer to a 4-year. And then I finished out the 4-year, and I did like a double major with business administration of science, and then with accounting classes, probably 10 accounting classes, and for 4 years. And some of those classes were like 20 hours a week on top of working one job with overtime. But I was using the money. I was going to school trying to learn, but I was also using the money trying to support my livelihood too, without trying to work 2 jobs. And then they merged, and they got more interested in buying Sky Television in Europe. Didn't really care about the cable side so much. And the place I was going to go, they got rid of all the data analysts. So that would have been a position I could have went. So I had nowhere to go, and I didn't want to move then because my house was really bad shape. My son destroyed it. We had a lot of issues with the old house. It was a flip house, so we bought it, and we seen all the stuff they flipped us off on, fixing it up. So I got lucky, and Dollar General got it. So, it didn't matter. And that's why I'm doing okay now. Thank goodness, everything worked for the best. But, I've had several opportunities, during the pandemic. Hey, go to school, get a cybersecurity, do this, do this. And even my wife went to the hospital. What was it? Yeah, Thursday. She's in the hospital now, but she went to the place in Sweetwater, real close to Georgia. It's South Carolina. She went there about 5:30, and then midnight they took her over to the hospital, and me and my son went to see her today. Took a charger up there, and she's feeling pretty good. She had pneumonia, believe it or not, and maybe bronchitis. But used to, she would have a problem, and you can kind of know what's going on. She said, "Well, I think I got a kidney infection or urinary tract infection." And then they test everything. Turns out to be pneumonia. So now she has no idea what she's got. She just knows something's wrong. So, she's going in the hospital on average probably about once a month. So, it's like, thank the Lord she still gets Medicaid, right now. And we qualify, I don't make any money, but if I get a job and I don't get insurance, she loses Medicaid. But if I get a job, nonprofit, government, school, then 10 years, my student loans be forgiven after I meet that 110 payments or whatever. So yeah, we just hanging out because it wanted my son to kind of have his own little spot, but it takes money for that. And I'd had to make the weekend job plus another job or something about $20 an hour to afford all that. So probably ain't going to happen. And we just had to keep everything up, and now self-checkout. And all you do is you never know how long you got. Just enjoy every day you have. I'm still able to cut my hair. So that saves me probably, last time I had a haircut, I think it's $20, $19 with a $1 tip or $2 tip. Maybe it was 18 with a $2 tip. It's $20. So it's probably 25 now. And that was at Great Clips. So the prices kept going up. They had a thing where you could get a deal, but I bought me some clippers, and they probably paid for themselves 4 times so far. But if you wait too long to cut it, it starts pulling, so it kind of hurts. When you get a haircut, it doesn't hurt, at least the ones I've had. But one time I skipped my not this time, the last time I skipped my beard right here. It had a big old white gap for 2 weeks till it filled in. So yeah, you have those accidents, and sometimes you can't cut your hair like you need to. You'll have long hairs up here, and you don't really see them because you take your glasses off. Where'd they go? But yeah, I just kind of wanted to share an update, and never know what's going on. And I guess I got to quit eating snacks as much. My wife says, "Cut out your Diet Mountain Dew." I said, "I can't give up everything. I give up snacks, and I eat less, and then I try to walk." I don't know what the average, they say 10,000 steps, but I think weekends sometimes I do about 7,500 steps during the week. We go somewhere, maybe 2,300 steps according to my GPS that's on my phone. But I have been lazy and only done like 300 something steps, and I kept my phone with me most of the time and just pilling around, making coffee, walking around, taking a shower, going outside. It's almost 200 something, so I didn't do nothing that day. But about 2,000 steps. So she just wants me to get out and start walking and just be healthier. And, why kill yourself working 7 days? I mean, I've been trying to put in for the jobs. Even I had to kind of put in what I could do. And somebody said, do security, do dispatch. Well, I put in for those jobs, and they want experienced dispatch, at least the jobs I've been putting in for. That's why I can't understand. They got all these jobs, but they're not hiring anybody. The people are ghosting, and I know a lot of people are job hopping. They get 50 cents or $1 more, and those that are hiring qualities they want, so they hire them, but then they might not hire anybody else because they job hop, or they don't want to pay you nothing. There's a lot of jobs, no pay. Like, that temp service I've been dealing with, I'm stubborn, so I keep going back. But I offered a forklift job. Then they said a dispatcher, forklift 17, dispatcher 15. Then half time they didn't go to the office. And I finally, the owner put on there about a job. So I contacted her and said, hey, how'd I get a job with no experience? I got the degrees and can't find nothing. And when I first got my degree, I didn't want to quit because I had a full-time job with benefits and I didn't want to go work seasonal doing taxes and a lot of the times these accounting offices said, why do you want to come work here? They were like miserable. And, they're working like 7 days a week, 12 hours, during the busy season. And it was insane. And that was before the AI took over. They started letting other countries do their information. I even read about that in school, one of my classes, that they were outsourcing stuff to India for $4 an hour. So how's a guy going to make $16 or $20 an hour to do data entry and enter all that stuff in when you pay somebody from another country, as long as it's not proprietary information, $4 an hour, because India, China, they put out about 500 engineers to our one, so it's amazing that they hadn't really bypassed us in a lot because there's like 500 of them, but they can make all kind of stuff. They'll make, I've seen this from Lowy, his YouTube channel and some other stuff, but like they have a bathroom and the guy's supposed to use the paper towels. Well, a lot of stuff, if it's not nailed down, certain things they think was free. Well, you don't have it. There's nothing telling me I can't take it. So they would put a video camera in there to recognize who it was. And if it seen who they were, it wouldn't dispense but so many paper towels in the bathroom, so they couldn't take them home with them. So they would make all kind of stuff like that. So there's all kind of stuff, and you can see, I think it's Hong Kong, they had these big old buildings, and they're 3D signs, and they got different things like a robot coming out at you and dragging. They got all this cool stuff, but the way their country is, they don't really allow for a lot of innovation because the government owns everything, and at least here you have, you think you own it, some stuff, but you don't pay your taxes a couple of years, they'll take your house. So, it's just a different way of looking at it. I guess you can say things, you might be more free, but then at least you're not disappeared, unless you get real crazy about stuff. But I try to stay away from all that. So hopefully people just watch my stuff. I do it for fun. It is a long video. So if you're still around, you are a trooper. And if whoever watches the video to the end, please let me know if you watched to the end. Because, even if you just let it play and walk off from it. Because when I tried to sell insurance when I first got laid off from Comcast, and I was out of work for a while, but I had a part-time job till I got on with Generac. Generac hired anybody, but I tried to sell insurance, and I was telling the lady in presentation, it was the first one, the only one that let me in her house, because everybody saying, it's during that time when, people cough and think you was going to get a bad deal. So a lot of people did, but nobody wanted you in the house. So that was rough. Gas, pay for leads, that was, insurance is rough. Unless, I think if you work for like State Farm or Allstate or a captive agent, you don't make as much, but you don't have as much of worried about trying to get people because, you're in the office and people come to you and you're not driving around. You still got quotas and all that, but it's not near as stressful, I don't think. You don't make as much, but it's making a steady income is better than making a lot of nothing, in my opinion. Especially if you want to tell the truth and tell them how the policies are. And if you don't have that good of policies to offer, that because all you're doing is whole life and they're doing term life, so they can get a cheaper payment, even though it expires in a few years, all that stuff. So if you hadn't got a good product and you don't know what you're doing and you want to be honest, sales is, you can be honest, but you got to be, it's hard. Like, even in business, one of the classes I took, cable company will tell you one thing about the cable and they'll tell you all the benefits and be honest about it. But when the new technology comes, or say Netflix comes around, well, they're not going to tell you how Netflix works. So when you get rid of the cable and just keep the internet, your cable bill goes down. You don't rent a box anymore because you have a smart TV, so you don't have to have a box. You buy your own cable modem, stuff like that. All you have is cable or internet. And then some people have a hotspot on their telephone service and watch all their stuff by telephone, or I think T-Mobile has that. And my daughter said Verizon because my grandson, he gets real hyper, and they show him this little TV, and he can do it so long, and then he said, that's enough. That's enough of that, because he wants to go play, but it'll keep him from getting mad and throwing stuff while we're initially. So you have a window opportunity to relax and enjoy the food before, the young stuff kicks in. But yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But that was the first guy. I made another video. If he likes it, I'm gonna send it to him. If he likes it, then I got it on unlisted, but I'll list it. Archer Travel. Shout out to Brian. So that was cool. He reached out to me. Hardly anybody says anything to me. They'll make a comment. They don't really reach out to me. And I don't know. I know I have a email, but I don't really get any emails. But I had a company in China reach out to me, some kind of portraits where you act like you're royalty or something like that. They wanted to partner with me, but I couldn't really find anything on them, and I'm not really at the YouTube partnership where you get ad revenue and all, but I guess I could get sponsors. I keep growing. Somebody might, but I didn't know too much about them. They were in China and hadn't heard of them, so I didn't partner with them. But maybe one day I might partner with somebody, or do a ad. Who knows? Maybe Mr. Beast will reach out to me or something. I did get a fake profile. It could have been real. You never know, because he did do a cruise ship thing where he invited 400 people to a cruise ship. That would have been cool. But I wasn't sure if that was legit because, applying for jobs, you get all these text messages that says, hey, we're really interested in you for this job. And most of them you just ignore because, you're like, I didn't apply for that job. And then one job, I keep a list of everything I applied for, and I got to go back and check. So I said, I mess with him. So this guy said, hey, I'd like to, I read your resume and all. And when you apply on Indeed and all these jobs that might be fake, you don't know. You don't get anything letting you know the job's closed out. So it could be a fake profile. And they'll send you, say, hey, we know, but I already got your phone number. They text you. But you call some of the numbers and they're unlisted, scam. A lot of them are scam trying to get your identity. But I said more about the company. Well, he sends me a link to a legitimate company that he's talking about. But then I go on LinkedIn and I try to search this guy, see if he's a recruiter. Because everybody's on LinkedIn, no listing of the guy. So I don't even know if it's a real person. Or if it is, I don't have access to find out it is. So, if I didn't really apply and I get a text, I'm really leery of it. So if people are trying to get people to, I've got about 20 of those, so I might have had 20 jobs. And then there's another thing, a work-at-home job. Somebody put on Facebook. I applied for them, took all kind of tests, and I didn't take a typing test. Now, it's only $14 an hour. You work at home. And I got an interview with them. That's the first interview from work at home. Next week or week after, something like that. But if none of these jobs work out, then I'll just try to get something part-time during the week and relax and just make YouTube, enjoy life before the self-checkouts take over. Who knows? Because everybody's coming to self-checkouts now. Like, I didn't want to come to the store. I got to have gas. So you made me walk in the store because the gas pump's not working. Now I buy a drink. Now I got to go to self-checkout. So by the time you go, you go spend as much time you used to spend at Walmart just going to the gas station. Walmart's going to be like a family fun event day. You're going to be at Walmart like 5 hours, gas station an hour, and then you'll be at work like 8 hours and get a lot done. You won't get nothing done when you get off. You'll be, held up by self-checkout everywhere. Yeah, but it's crazy, man. I gotta get up early in the morning, so I'm gonna go ahead and send this video and try to come up with a title for it. I forgot the world. Talking about everything, rambling on today. But thank y'all for listening. Hope y'all doing well with self-checkout, cruising, and finding work, getting old, the end of the world, whole 9 yards. And seen some people subscribe to my other channel, so I got a Bible in the other room, but it's different than the one I had. I like reading the one I had, but I was reading some of the Bible too, but I want to go back to doing that on my other channel. So I'm sorry I've been slack. I just, it's like you start doing something like that, and it's like things will move it out of the way. So I got to fight to get that back going. But yeah, hope y'all doing good. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for subscribing. I know a lot of people probably leave after this video if I don't post some cool videos because people like the short content. They don't like that long train anymore. They like the little motorcycle. But it's cool, and who knows, it could help somebody. There's one guy called Jasper, because I thought, well, my wife passed away. She's doing pretty good, and you can just tell when you pray for her, she does real good. And I try to pray for her, but she was feeling bad, and then everything started happening. She got her antibiotics, but I thought, well, maybe I'd just go overseas, because you start hearing all this stuff about when I was in college doing like foreign business and dealing with that. Then you got in some YouTube channels trying to learn about different cultures. Well, a lot of them, they do the positive stuff. So they talk about how it's so great. They don't talk about all the failures they have or the trash or a lot of the poor folks. And this guy, he's in the Philippines. His name is Jasper. And he kind of tells it like it is. Hey, it's just like America. It's an arrangement. It's not love. Some of them might be love, so no offense to anybody if it is love, but it is not a lot of, people are people. You got some people pay for their things at the store. Some people don't pay for it. But he said, he's harsh, but he's real. He said, you got 6 people living on $200 a month, and there's opportunity. This guy's, making $3,000 a month. He's like a millionaire over there. So it's more of an arrangement. But, if it don't last, the guy don't need to do nothing to himself. But he thinks it's love, and it's just arrangement. Now, some of it could be love, but, if it's like a big age gap, it's more likely an arrangement. Because, over there, like India, they do arrange marriages. But I think they're closer in age. But they don't usually pick their spouse. The parents pick them. But sort of like that, and just getting a better standard of living. But if inflation keeps going and everything's going, then shoot, people be coming over here and marrying us to get us out of our situation. But you never know. But just some crazy thoughts. Just don't mind me. My craziness kind of wound up. I've had a couple Mountain Dews today, coffee. I gotta relax because I gotta do the fire watch tomorrow. Keep everything safe. Because if I don't do my job, I won't have a job. That's pretty bad, ain't it? The place burns down. I can't have it. I can't go back to work, unless they build it back. But so you don't want to not do your job. Thank y'all for watching. And don't forget to subscribe, like, share. Don't let this long content run you off. If you like little content, I like doing the little ones too. They're fast. But sometimes I like to ramble on with a long one, you know. So we'll talk at y'all later, and thank y'all for watching. You know, the things are crazy, man. Technology, and I got a new gas station near me, and I put my phone up there to do the Apple Pay, and it says, you know, it shows your card, you do your Face ID, but then it won't take the payment. You know, what is up with that? It says get closer. So you get it all around, it still won't read it. So something's wrong. It won't read the, it won't continue the transaction. So I don't know what's wrong with it, but that's the only place that does that. I don't even know if they know it's not working or not. Thank y'all for watching, and we'll talk to you later.